Good morning from Ghana. And did you know that Ghana is one of the leading producers of cocoa in the world? Cocoa, yes, cocoa, that which you use for chocolates. At the time, Ghana was the number one producer of cocoa in the world. So away from what we do, I want us to look at choosing a research topic today, choosing a research topic. Now, if you are a student at the diploma, undergraduate, master, or doctoral level, depending on the university, it will be your requirement that you write a project work, thesis, or dissertation as part of the requirements for fulfillment of the award of your degree. A lot of people usually will just pick a topic without recourse to deep thinking. And I have these to suggest to you. Before you choose a research topic, one, read around the broad area you want to research into. So it may be in agriculture, you have to peruse the literature relative to agriculture. If it's animal science, specific to animal science, you may want to look at it. If it's public sector management, is education or practice? Whichever area, there's the need for you to delve into the literature. Now, in reading the literature, you will be able to establish the gap or problem from the literature. This would mean that you would have seen a lot of the problems that have already been solved. Yet, underneath that, you will also be looking at challenges that still pertain. A lot of researchers, before they even get into, usually would have a mindset about what they want to research into. But it's not enough just to go in, pick a topic related to that area, because tendencies are that one other researcher might have done that already. So there's the need for you to peruse the literature. In-depth reading of the literature is important to be able to establish the gap or the problem. Now, if you are able to establish the gap, now you carve out a topic from the problem or gap. We would have tutorials on how to write a topic later within the course of time. Now, when you carve out the topic or the gap, you now can write your topic from it. When you carve out a topic from the problem. Yes, so when you carve out the topic from the problem, now you suggest that to what? Your supervisor. But there is another way. There's another way. And the second one for me usually sits well with a lot of supervisors. One, read the previous studies of your supervisor. Your supervisor definitely would be a researcher. It is by virtue of he or she being a researcher that you are assigned to him or her to guide you. Look out for the recommendation for future studies component of his or her work. So your supervisor definitely would have had limitations that he thinks should further the research from his paper, most of his papers. So just look at your supervisor's papers and then fish out for the recommendation for future studies component of it. Carve out a topic for the from the recommendations listed therein. So the areas that he has recommended or she has recommended for future research or study, carve out a topic from that and then suggest it to your supervisor. Very likely, ladies and gentlemen, your supervisor is going to give you a thumbs up. It may not be well carved. His interest in that topic is going to be very high because he's already a researcher in that area. You are not going to overly stress him to read literature in a new area because his works are already seated within the domain of that literature. And it appears to me that when you opt for option number 2, your project work, thesis or dissertation will go very, very fast and very, very guided. So is there an example we want to look at? Yes, I think there's an example. Let's look at this example, then we can use that. Effects of cyberbullying on the academic life of Ghanaian tertiary students. Fred Awaah, Andrew Tete, and Dorcas Adoma Ado. Now, assuming you are a student and I am your supervisor, and you pick this paper, read, keep reading. Then you see what I have not been able to do. So this is it. Limitations and suggestions for future research. This study identified the effects of cyberbullying on Ghanaian university students. However, all the chosen universities are public universities without recourse to private universities to ascertain whether the phenomenon is the same. So you see there's a gap here. So you can investigate this topic, but looking at private but not public universities. That is one of the gaps that we left. Also, the quantitative nature of the study hindered its ability to recognize detailed cases of the effects that cyberbullying can have on what? Academic life. The study's cross-sectional nature also makes it impossible to study the effects of cyberbullying on students over time. So here again, we limited our study to quantitative. You can look at it from a qualitative perspective. Future studies should consider using qualitative methods to fish out details about the effects of cyberbullying on academic life in Ghanaian universities using specific cases. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of today's session. Remember, Ghana is in West Africa, and one of our leading export products is cocoa. So we'll meet again in yet another video. It is goodbye from Fred Awaah.